Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. I just want to take a second to invite you to check out my new project, bradcartwright.com. I have put together all of the resources you will need if you are an IB student or an AP student to be successful in the upcoming May 2020 IB and AP exams. What do I mean? Well, go check it out. There are video lessons, notes, slides, key terms, vocabulary, practice questions, and all of the other stuff you will need in order to feel comfortable as you go to sleep the night before the exam. So head on over to bradcartwright.com, create a new account. You don't need a credit card. Check out the free previews, and if you're interested, use the coupon code MAY2020. All right, my friends, and just to give you an idea of what it looks like, check out the following video. All right, well, now we are moving into the next topic of development economics, which takes a look at something called foreign direct investment, or FDI, and how it influences or creates or contributes to the development of developing nations, okay? So let's take a look at some details. First of all, what is meant by FDI? All right. FDI, or foreign direct investment, is long-term, very important, investment by private multinational corporations, MNCs, in countries overseas, okay? FDI usually occurs in one of two ways. One, multinational corporations build plants or expand their existing facilities in foreign countries, or multinational corporations merge or acquire, in other words, they buy, existing firms in foreign countries, and then those firms become theirs. Okay, a great example here in Chile, there was a grocery store chain called Leader, and who came in and bought them? Walmart. And what's the store called now? Leader. So it's still called Leader, but who owns it? Walmart. Okay, there's another example of a really, really cool, just sort of created company here in Chile called Corner Shop. Corner Shop is an app or a service that people will go and do your grocery shopping for you. And guess what? They grew and grew the business, and who came in and bought it? Walmart, right? For $220 million, which made three Chilenos super rich. But it also shows you how multinational corporations are looking to make money. And they're looking to make money and expand their markets. Okay, and currently there are 82,000 multinational corporations operating worldwide with over 810,000 affiliates. That is amazing. That is incredible. That's massive influence. And of course, with economic influence becomes political power. And so we're going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of multinational corporations. But a lot of it has to do with when these companies come in, they also become the large employers of, people in the host country. And therefore, they leverage a lot of power because an employer controls a lot of what happens in someone's life. Okay, but why would multinational corporations be interested? It might be because some developing nation has certain amounts of raw materials, for sure. That's kind of obvious. It also, though, might be in the case of like China or Brazil or India, like the country represents a huge market for a particular good, right? So if you just think about like McDonald's, when they began expanding, just to use one that's overused, but it's still so helpful, like think about how much more ability to grow McDonald's had when it opened up its first chain in Brazil. I mean, there are 300 million people in Brazil, and they like meat in Brazil. So what if you provided them with a cheap burger? Would they take it? Yeah, probably. They probably would, right? And so multinational corporations are incentivized as a result of the ability to expand their markets. Another reason why multinational corporations might set up a plant or a manufacturing plant somewhere is cheap labor, for sure. And cheap labor, be careful with this one, because just because they're not paying the same wage for, say, a worker in Mexico as they would have to pay for a worker in the United States, that doesn't mean that it's an unfair wage. You must remember that a good wage is about what the wage that the person's earning will buy them at the store. So even though like maybe in the United States they have to pay 5 times the amount of money for a particular worker, the actual buying power of that 1/5 of the cost of labor might be greater in a country like Mexico than in the United States, okay? So don't judge the multinational corporations by that, because what they are also doing is they're creating jobs for people in Mexico that didn't have them or didn't have necessarily as many opportunities for employment, okay? So those are the reasons why multinational corporations might get involved. And one last thing might be as a result of like, lower regulations on environmental standards, because environmental standards are costs and factors of production for many corporations. So, sadly, there are companies who look to find a place where they would be able to lower their factors of production, the cost of their factors of production, because the costs of environmental cleanup, the costs of having to, clean the byproducts of whatever they're manufacturing are much less if the environmental regulations in a developing nation are lower, okay? But before we finish up this little introductory video, let's take a look at the largest multinational corporations that there are in the world. And it's pretty interesting. Like, take a look at this. And this also comes from Jocelyn Blank, which is a source for nearly all of this information that I'm sharing with you. But here they are. Look at General Electric, Vodafone from the United Kingdom, right? Royal Dutch Shell, British Petroleum. Let's just look at those 4, okay? What does General Electric make? Electronic and electrical equipment. And look at how much employment they create in other countries. 168,000 people, and this is in 2007, are employed with General Electric outside the United States, right? Their total employment in the world is 327,000. Look at Vodafone, a telecommunications company from the UK. Their foreign employment, 62,000. Royal Dutch Shell, 86,000. British Petroleum, 80,000. So that's an enormous amount of, look at Toyota, 121,000 jobs created outside of Japan for people who are just trying to improve their life, okay? So international firms, multinational corporations are really, really incentivized to invest their money in places where they feel like it's the safest. And this goes back to those domestic factors of international development, which is like, look, multinational corporations want to take their money and their investment to places where it's safest. So lack of corruption, the rule of law in a legal system, cheap labor, the availability of access to ports, good infrastructure, highly educated people, healthy people, those types of things are really attractive qualities that foreign direct investment or multinational corporations look for in the foreign nations where they invest. Okay, so now let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of FDI around the world.